Hi, I'm Ryan Wiemold. I'm Park Superintendent with Story County Conservation. One of my roles is a park ranger here for the county, and I want to talk to you today about some simple rules and regulations that we have in our parks. So I brought with me today my dog Jameson. Come here. Good boy. So we want to talk about dogs on leash. So where do you have to have your dog on a leash in our parks, and why do you have to have your dog on a leash in our parks? So we love when people bring their dogs outside and enjoy the open spaces in our parks. We want the dogs to be safe while they're out in our areas, and we want our users to be safe from other people's dogs out in the areas as well. And we hear from people a lot, and they say, well, my dog's really friendly, so it doesn't matter, and he would never hurt anybody. And that might be true, and it usually is, but for the most part, we want to protect that dog from other people in the park. There's certain people that don't want to be approached by a dog. If you're a small child and you have a large dog coming at you, even if that dog is smiling and getting ready to lick you, it can be very scary for the child. So we want to keep your dog under your immediate supervision at our parks no matter what. So we have different leash rules at our parks based on if it's a wildlife refuge or a public hunting area. So a wildlife refuge is a place where it's less consumptive uses. I think of it as nature comes first at those areas. So we want to protect the nature. That habitat is there to be a home to wildlife. And so when you're at those wildlife refuges, we want to have your dog on a leash no matter what. At public hunting areas, which is more consumptive uses, you can legally public hunt. We want your dog to be on a leash in those areas unless it is in the act of hunting or training. If it is in the act of hunting and training in a public hunting area, it can be off leash. That is outside of the nesting season. So we have a nesting season where birds are in our prairie, and there's eggs and nests in our prairie. And we don't want dogs off leash during that time, and that is March 15th through July 15th. And those signs are posted at our public hunting areas, so you know that. So when you're getting ready to take your dog for a walk, at many of our high use areas, we'll have these dog waste bags dispenser stations. So go ahead and rip a bag off and take it with you on your walk and clean up after your dog in our areas to help keep them natural and beautiful. So after you use your dog waste bag, go ahead and bring it to the front of the park, and we'll have dumpsters at those parks or trash receptacles that you can put those bags in. We just want to really make sure that our parks are clean and looking natural for other users, and that falls right in line with our carry in, carry out policy. So many people wonder why we don't have trash cans at every park. A, that's a lot of maintenance for our staff. B, a lot of critters like to get into that trash and scatter it all over, so it's a lot more work picking up that trash again. And then C, we want to encourage people that what they bring out with them to the parks, they should bring back home with them as well. One of the questions we get in our parks is, what can you harvest in the parks? You can harvest fruits, nuts, seeds, as well as mushrooms. We want to protect our wild areas as much as we can. So when you're in the prairie and the woodlands, make sure you understand what you can harvest and can't harvest. And if you are harvesting a seed or fruit, make sure you're not damaging the parent plant. We want to make sure that that plant is able to continue its life cycle and continue growing into the future. Two of our most highly used areas in our county are our beaches. We have a beach at Hickory Grove Lake as well as West Peterson Lake just north of Ames. The beaches are wildly popular, especially on the weekends this time of year when it's warm weather. We get a lot of people using the beach. People are often confused about what they can and can't do there. Each beach has large rule signs posted in a couple different areas, so you can reference all the rules for that beach. So make sure when you're at the beach that you're reading those and following those rules. There is no alcohol allowed at our beaches. We've had too many problems with it in the past. We want to ensure that those beaches are a safe, comfortable place for everybody, and that people's behavior is a little bit more controlled. So there is no alcohol on our beaches. Another issue that we have at the beaches is people like to swim across the lake or swim outside of that roped area. You have to swim within the roped area at our beaches. We know that those beached areas are safe and that there's no downed trees or fishing line caught in that beach area. Outside of that, our lakes can get very deep, as well as have trees and fish habitat and fishing lines stuck out there that a person could get tangled on. So we don't want people swimming across the beach or swimming across the lake just because it is dangerous. A third issue that we have on our beaches is people love to bring their dogs to the beach. We do not allow dogs on our beaches, and again, it's more for that interaction. We want to provide a a safe interaction between the different users on the beach. Oftentimes if there's a dog in the beach, that can cause issues. And then there's also the issue of that pet waste on the beach. So we want to avoid dogs on beaches. Dogs can use the rest of our areas as long as they're on a leash or you're following our leash laws as mentioned earlier. Lastly, I just want people to be considerate of the areas that they're using and the other users in the park. So when you're at a multi-use area, there's a lot of different opportunities for people to interact. Sometimes those interactions could conflict, so we want people to be mindful of the people around them and how they're using the area, and then just be respectful of our natural areas, take care of them, and just be a good steward of the land. Thanks.